नहीं चलता है। आप देखते हो कि जिस तरह से पहले सिक्योरिटी के नाम पे गिमिक किया और एक अच्छा युवा आर्टिस्ट भी, एक कलाकार भी, एक नेता भी पंजाब ने गंवा दिया। अमीर आदमी पार्टी को इधर उधर हाथ पांव मारने की बजाय पंजाब में शासन दिया है लोगों ने, तो वहाँ पे कंसंट्रेट करना चाहिए।
ਕਾਂਗਰਸ ਦੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਗੈਂਗਸਟਰ ਗੱਲ ਫਰਾਰ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ ਮਾਨਸਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਸ ਖਿਲਾਫ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਘੇਰੇਗੀ।
ਇੱਕ CIA ਦਾ ਇੰਚਾਰਜ ਖੁਦ ਆਪਦੀ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਵੇਟ ਗੱਡੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਿਠਾ ਕੇ ਜੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਗੈਂਗਸਟਰ ਨੂੰ ਬਿਨਾਂ ਹੈਂਡਕਫ ਕੀਤੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਲੜਕੀ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਾਉਣ ਦੇ ਲਈ, ਤੇ ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਸਪਸ਼ਟ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਕਾਲੀ ਭੇੜ ਉਸ ਵਿਅਕਤੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਉਸ ਗੈਂਗਸਟਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮਿਲੀ ਹੋਈ ਸੀਗੀ। ਤੇ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਦਾ ਔਰ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਦਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਐਕਸ਼ਨ ਦੇਖੋ ਕਿ ਇਮੀਡੀਏਟਲੀ ਉਸ ਕਲਪਰੇਟ, ਉਸ ਗੁਨਾਹਗਾਰ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਅਫਸਰ ਦੇ ਖਿਲਾਫ FIR ਦਰਜ ਹੋ ਗਈ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਅਰੈਸਟ ਕਰ ਲਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਤੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਡਿਸਮਿਸ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਸਰਵਿਸ ਤੋਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਸੈਸ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਹੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ। ਹੋਰ ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਤੇਜ਼ੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ? ਵਿਰੋਧੀ ਆਪਦੀ ਪੀੜ੍ਹੀ ਥੱਲੇ ਸੋਟਾ ਫੇਰਨ ਕਿ 5 ਸਾਲ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੀਆਂ ਜੇਲ੍ਹਾਂ ਸੀਗੀਆਂ ਉਹ ਸੁਧਾਰ ਘਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਬਜਾਏ ਉਹ ਬਰੀਡਿੰਗ ਗਰਾਊਂਡ ਬਣ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਗੈਂਗਸਟਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਔਰ ਕ੍ਰਿਮੀਨਲ ਅਨਸਰਾਂ ਦੇ। ਇਹ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਸੋਚ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕਰਨ, ਇਹ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਸੋਚ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕਰਨ ਕਿ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਨੱਕ ਦੇ ਹੇਠ ਗੈਂਗਸਟਰ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਦਿਨ ਦੁੱਗਣੀ ਰਾਤ ਚੌਗੁਣੀ ਤਰੱਕੀਆਂ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਪੈਰ ਫਲਾਏ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਆਪਦੀ ਪੀੜ੍ਹੀ ਥੱਲੇ ਸੋਟਾਂ ਮਾਰਨ।
Moving on now to a hate attack that came to the fore from Canada. A park that was named after the Bhagavad Gita was vandalized in Brampton. The park that was previously called Notorious Park was renamed as the Sri Bhagavad Gita Park and unveiled on the 28th of September. That board was replaced, but now the Indian High Commission has condemned that vandalism of the park and urged Canadian authorities and the police to investigate and take prompt action. The event comes just 10 days after India issued an advisory for Indian nationals, especially students in Canada, to remain vigilant as there is a sharp increase in hate crimes and anti-India activities. Abhishek Jha, my colleague, is with me for more on this. Now, Abhishek, the Indian High Commission in Canada there has taken up the matter, but as far as investigations are concerned, do we have any details of who exactly is behind this vandalism?
So clearly, the local police, which initially accepted the fact that there has happened some vandalism and it could be possible to hate crime, later on they have said that this does not look like a hate crime and they have removed those direction of investigation. However, they have accepted that there has something that has happened in the Bhagavad Gita Park in Brampton. But this is not clearly the hate crime, and the local authorities have said that to maintain some of the perceived vandalism, they will investigate further as to who all could be behind this. They have said that the vandalism on the signboard that has happened, those visuals are out. They are not still the permanent signboard, and permanent signboard is still being made, and that will be placed in the park.
Right, Abhishek. Thank you so much for getting us the very latest. With that, it's a wrap from me on this edition. Anand Narasimhan joins you next.
Namaste, you're on The Nation at 5. I'm Anand Narasimhan, and we start with news just coming through at this point from Iran, ladies and gentlemen, where the anti-hijab protests are now peaking. They have taken to multiple districts of Iran, and it all started, matters came to a head with the death of Mahsa Amini. But after that, day after day, the protests have spread to multiple provinces across Iran, with a lot of men also now joining Iranian women in demanding the curbing of the moral police, the atrocities committed in the name of cultural policing and moral policing, and of course, absolutely against the hijab. Now, at least 92 people have been killed as the government crackdown on these protesters only becomes far more intense, ladies and gentlemen. At various provinces, police have even resorted to firing at these protesters. 92 people so far have been killed, as the Iranian government has said that there will be hard action, and they are working using all means possible to try and quell these protests. The Iranian government believes that these protests have been fueled by the machinations of the US and its intelligence wings. But on ground, the people of Iran have had enough, especially the women. Now, Mahsa Amini, Her crime was that she had worn the hijab improperly. Amini was pronounced dead on the 16th of September. Thereafter, there was also another of the protesters who was shot dead by the police. She was a 20-year-old who also died, and then the protests further intensified. We have given to understand that there are many solidarity rallies with Iranian women that have now been held across various parts of the world. We've had rallies in France, we've had rallies in Germany, we've had rallies in the United States. More and more people coming out and, of course, backing the Iranian women who are demanding equal rights and, of course, no more policing or moral policing. Now, women have had to wear hijabs and also follow the Shariat since the time Iran became an Islamic republic. That was by popular vote at that time, but with the promise that women will not be denied their rights. But largely those who belong to ethnic minorities in Iran, especially with Kurdish or Zoroastrian lineage or leanings and beliefs, non-Muslims, they have been pushed towards following the rules under the Shariat, under this entire garb of cultural ethos and maintaining cultural parity. But there are many who are now moving back to the old religion of Persia, old religion of Iran, that is Zoroastrianism, or how we know in India as the Parsi faith. But demonstrations have been held in more than 150 cities. We've got more news coming through from Iran at this point, ladies and gentlemen, where now matters have further gone on the boil, with protesters not taking kindly to the death of a 17-year-old protester whose body has been returned by the Iranian security forces to her family after 9 days. 9 days after she went missing. She was part of a protest. Nika Shakrami, she took part in the protests. On the 20th of September, she went missing after she took part in protests in Tehran. Now her nose, she's been found with her body badly mutilated, especially her face. We're given to understand more than 29 injuries have been seen on her face itself, on her head and her face itself. They look like a blunt force being used, or a blunt force object which has been used to smash her nose, smash her face. It looks like she's been subject to very heavy attacks with a baton. Shakrami's family was threatened and told not to hold a memorial service for her. This is the situation that we have, that we are seeing multiple hits by a heavy object, possibly a baton. That's what we are given to understand how Nika Shakrami has died. It's a third female death, 92 deaths so far, but 3 shocking deaths because of police atrocities and police excesses that we are witnessing. Burzeen Wagmar, Center for Iranian Studies, SOS London, is with us this evening. Burzeen, good to have you with us after a while. This is Anand here. What is happening in Iran? Is it that there are many more people who are standing up to the orthodoxy of the Iranian government? Or are people moving back to the old religion of Iran, that is Zoroastrianism?
All 31 provinces are in revolt. And if I could update your fatalities figure, Anand, it's 133 now. And
133.
also, since yesterday, we've had reports at Tehran's Sharif University of Technology, which is a very important campus and a varsity in Iran, where security forces have surrounded and started live firing on student protesters. The things are going to get out of hand even worse. The regime obviously has had to find some distraction, and they've blamed Kurds and bombed Kurdish locations in northwest Iran, as you know, which of course fits in well with a lot of patterning. Why? Because Kurds are Sunnis, and this Islamic Republic is unabashedly a 12er Shia republic, where Sunnis, not just Zoroastrians, Jews, Christians, and Baha'is are discriminated against, and where discrimination is an official fact of life, but also Sunnis. And since yesterday and over the weekend in Zahedan, which is the capital of Iran's Balochistan province, which is also Iran's largest Sunni minority province as such, and which straddles across with Pakistan's equally troubled restive Balochistan province, as you know, historically speaking, is where security forces came in and shot protesters in a mosque, Sunni worshippers in a mosque. So now they've taken it upon themselves to paint it as a revolt hatched by Sunnis, as in both Kurds and Balochis, which is completely nonsense, since the protesters which are happening in Iran, the girls and students and others that have been killed across Iranian cities, are in the main Shias who do not stand and recognize this Islamic regime, which is thoroughly discredited and illegitimate since 1979. I mean, you have a regime here which has had controlled elections, which is something of a quasi-democracy at best, a global pariah which is at odds with every neighbor in the region. Saudi Arabia, Lebanon, Iraq, Syria, Yemen, UAE, Bahrain works, and whose economy is moribund. And of course, the regime is a tinderbox, Anand, because what you have in Iran is a population which is between the ages of 15 and 64, the percentile range I've just mentioned.
Yes.
68.3% of Iranians are between 15 and 64. A restive population, which is highly literate and skilled, standing at 96%, jobless, a ramshackle economy, hamstrung since sanctions after 2006. So you have all the ingredients here for a flare-up. And flare-ups are not new. They've been occurring in Iran since July 1999. But every time the regime has gotten away with it, and they do because, like China, they have no qualms in shooting their own population in cold blood. And may I just pause here with the Chinese factor and the Samarkand summit, if you recollect, where Xi Jinping attended among other dignitaries just in the middle of September. Well, what did Premier Xi state at that Samarkand summit during the closing remarks of the conference? He stated, we cannot have any more color revolutions in our region, in China's near abroad. He was referring, of course, to these orange and other revolutions which took place in the Caucasus, in Central Asia, and of course, Iran's aborted so-called Green Movement revolution of 2009, when Ahmadinejad was put into office again after a royally rigged election.
Right.
That was supposed to be stated, that China will always support Iran on these aspects, and it is supporting Iran since 2009 with surveillance technology and deep packet information technology. That is to say, Anand, if you are sitting in Tehran at an internet cafe and attempt to log into a blocked website, which obviously is clamped down, your details can be immediately picked up by the software available to Iranian intelligence and security forces. And that software in question, you may have not attempted to find that web link, obviously because it's a blocked link, but the fact that you even typed it on the keyboard could trigger off a response and they can locate where you are. And that is the technology which China has shared with the intelligence and security services in Iran.
Right, Burzin, we've got another update because we talked about Mahsa Amini and Nika Shakrami, but there is also another story. 20-year-old Hadith Najafi was killed by the Iranian security forces. She was shot 6 times during one of the protests that she was a part of. She was actually leading these protests. A video of Najafi preparing to join a demonstration and tying her hair into a ponytail has actually gone viral. She was on the radar of security forces. In this video, she's seen tying her hair up so that before she enters, she's not having her head covered. She actually, in fact, even cut her hair in front of the security forces, and they were very, very upset, and they shot her. She was shot 6 times. So Mahsa Amini was actually a Kurdish Zoroastrian. Hadith Najafi is an Iranian Shia. And you also have Nika Shakrami, who's a 17-year-old, again a Muslim girl. So this is beyond just ethnicities, and this is beyond just faiths. And there is also this entire aspect that Iran claims 99.5% of its population is Muslim, but there are 8% Zoroastrians or Asha, those who believe in the old religion, who are also present. And if we see all the 31 provinces, if there are protests, you also see a lot of men who are coming out and backing the women in these protests. So clearly this is not dying down, and killing people is not going to quell the uprising that we are seeing, because it's the moral policing, it's the curbs that the government is trying to impose, which people are resisting. So those who brought in an Islamic Republic via popular vote today believe that that's not the way to go forward, because under the Shah of Iran was a far more open, liberal and progressive society.
The Shah ran an autocracy like every other Middle Eastern ruler, but he was far and away more progressive than most rulers across Asia and Africa. He ran an enlightened state when all is said and done and reflected upon after 40 years. The so-called Islamic Republic that was declared by Khomeini in April 79 was with a simple question: do you want an Islamic Republic or not? That was put on the ballot, the referendum, and obviously nobody was going to say no to that in the wake of a so-called popular revolt. So it is even questionable that the way it has been an Islamic Republic since 1979, and the regime is living on borrowed time. And it has coalesced into a national revolt, overriding any ethno-linguistic or religious confessional divisions among the population, who as a full whole are against the regime and what it stands for. And it's more than just the morality police pestering you, Anand, if you sit at a cafe, a guy and a girl, and asking, are you married, as to why you're sitting together, if you're not related, and that sort of thing. It used to be done that, and you had to produce say a marriage certificate or some such ID. It's gone beyond these petty discriminations. It has become a national revolt for basic decencies in life, and that people want more than a modicum of freedom to choose to live how they wish to. Like I said, Sunnis are discriminated against in Balochistan and across Iran, officially speaking, like Kurds too, in terms of jobs, in terms of progress, advancement, social advancement as such. Shias are top dogs. They are top of the pile. And of course, Sunnis come below, and then non-Zoroastrians follow as such. With, of course, Baha'is, as you know, who are officially persecuted and murdered and have been so since the last 40 years. Iran's Baha'is are what are Pakistan's Ahmadis. It's open season to kill them any and every time, and you can get away with it because the law upholds anyone who indulges in Baha'i bloodletting. And I haven't even come to the Jews of Iran, who incidentally are the largest Jewish population outside Israel in the Middle East region, and of course who've lived perilously since 1979, and so many obviously have migrated, as have other Iranians, not just Muslims, but primarily Zoroastrians to the US and Canada, as well as Iranian Armenian Christians and Assyrian Christians, not to mention, of course, Baha'is, as I just mentioned as well.
But do you see that matters have come to a tipping point in Iran, Burzine? Because you watch sociologically what's happening in nations, do you believe Iran is at the cusp of perhaps a change in the way the nation functions? Is this international interference, as the Iranian government alleges, or is it coming from within society? Because it's getting huge amount of support across the world.
It is getting huge unofficial popular support across the world in social media, but all Western governments have not said a word about it. And the only release that Tehran has officially made is that the Germans are behind it, which is ridiculous. And for once, just this once, Anand, they have not implicated London or Washington, which they do for interference in Iranian affairs, historically speaking. And both London and Washington have very tactfully steered clear by not making a single remark, lest the regime is provoked to seize upon it and to distort what is happening and to show that it's an external imperialist interference in Iranian affairs. Everyone, absolutely everyone across Europe, Berlin, Paris, Rome, Washington, London, even Moscow, have kept quiet about it. There was a pathetic attempt, as I just mentioned last week, when someone from the official ministry said that it's the Germans behind it, which is absolutely ludicrous. Nobody's behind it. It is purely local. It's a groundswell, grassroots, popular uprising against a thoroughly discredited regime which has not represented Iranians since 1979 across the spectrum. It is a police state for all purposes and intents. That is what we are talking about. And to your question of what I see as a tipping point, I'm afraid not. I'm cynical because, like I mentioned, this regime has no qualms in shooting its population, in punching women with iron chains by sending out these Shia security thugs who are known as the volunteer force of Basij. These are just young Shia unemployed men from lower middle class working districts who are hired as hoodlums to do the regime's dirty job on motorcycles. They go around with iron chains, beating anyone and everyone up, which is what they did in 2009 too, during the Green Movement. They are out there on the streets as we speak, plus women of the morality police who go around punching and beating up these women and shoving them into police vans to be incarcerated. We see that happening
Right.
too. So it is a strong state in that sense, in that it has no compunction in killing its own population, and it will continue doing so because it has gotten away with it since July 99 with every social protest that has occurred.
Well, there has to be a stop that should be put to it. 133 people dead is what you're telling us, Burzeen. Thank you for joining us. We put out the facts there in these anti-hijab protests in Iran, which is also getting support globally from people. It's coming in from within society. We're going to take a very short break. When we come back, it's the victims of terror in Jammu and Kashmir who speak up at the UNHRC. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Let's now take a look at some more stories doing the rounds from India and around the world. Congress leader Sonia Gandhi arrived at Mysuru airport today. She is all set to join the Bharat Jodo Yatra that's led by her son and Congress leader Rahul Gandhi on October 6th. Currently passing through BJP-led Karnataka, the Yatra is in its second stage and is all set to move with its 125 designated Yatris from Mysuru this Thursday. Security has been stepped up across Jammu and Kashmir with additional troops being deployed on highways and vital road links. Meanwhile, checkpoints have been increased in Srinagar and in Baramulla, Rajouri and other parts of the Union territory in view of the Union Home Minister Amit Shah's visit.
Ahead of Union Home Minister Amit Shah's visit to Jammu and Kashmir, there's been tremendous security which has been deployed across the Srinagar as well as other districts. Clearly, Mr. Shah is going to hold two rallies, one in Rajouri, that's in Jammu, and another in Baramulla in the valley, where there's in every likelihood he's going to announce scheduled tribe status to people of the Pahari community. Now,
thousands of farmers gathered to mark the Lakhimpur violence anniversary in Uttar Pradesh's Tikonia. Farmer leader Rakesh Tiket was in attendance at the event. Heavy police was also deployed for security arrangements. Now remember, a total of 8 people, including a journalist and 4 farmers, were killed on October 3rd in 2021 in Lakhimpur Kheri. A film crew entering the premises of Gurdwara Panja Sahib without permission in Punjab province of Pakistan has outraged the Sikh community. The crew was also seen wearing shoes while shooting inside the Sikh temple. BJP leader Manjinder Singh Sirsa, while sharing a video of the incident that's dated September 29th, condemned the act and demanded the Indian government to intervene, take prompt action and also raise the issue with the Pakistani government.
सारा स्टार कास्ट जूतियां दे अंदर दिखाई दे रहा। एक श्रद्धालु ने इसकी वीडियो बनाई, जिसने वीडियो बनाई वो वीडियो च कहता सुन रहा है कि आपको पता ही नहीं है ये सिक्खी कैसे मिली है। लग रहा है कि वो भी मुसलमान है। 29 तरीक तो यह आदमी नहीं लभदा पिया। पुलिस प्रशासन ने शायद इस ते कार्रवाई करके उन्हें अंदर बंद कर दिता। और जिस गुरु घर के श्रद्धालु ने वीडियो बना के ये जनतक की लोगों ने जानकारी दी है, उसकी जान की राखी की जाए। पाकिस्तान की सरकार को तुरंत इन लोगों को फड़ के अरेस्ट करना चाहिए है जिन्हें गुरु घर की बेअदबी की।
The Parvat Mountains in the Pir Panjal range of Gulmarg received its season's first light snowfall. Following the change in weather, several skiing resorts located in Baramulla area of North Kashmir have rejoiced at the opening of this year's business from the onset of the snowfall. The snowfall is the sign of the beginning of winter in the valley. 2 labourers died and another one was injured in a wall collapse incident in Gurugram today. The dilapidated wall fell on the labourers while getting demolished. With one injured sent to the hospital, efforts are currently on to evacuate the other labourers. One person died and several others were injured as a passenger bus fell into a roadside ditch in Jammu and Kashmir's Udhampur district. The unfortunate accident happened in the wee hours of the morning. The injured were shifted to the hospital where they are undergoing treatment currently. 7-year-old child died during treatment after getting critically injured in an e-scooter blast in Mumbai's Vasai. A case has now been registered and further investigation has been initiated by the Manikpur police station. A fire broke out at a Durga Puja pandal in Uttar Pradesh's Bhadoi district on Sunday evening, injuring more than 50 people and also killing a 12-year-old boy, unfortunately. According to the district magistrate, the fire started due to a short circuit. The fire brigade, however, brought the fire under control in an hour's time. Now, as the Russian invasion of Ukraine enters its 8th month, an opera house in Kharkiv, which was hit and destroyed by a missile, has now been converted into a memorial. My colleague Sanjay Suri with this ground report.
This year behind is a memorial to those who died fighting and to those still fighting for Ukraine, fighting bloody battles and very difficult battles. And beneath that memorial, all around it, the sandbags and the flowers between them say just about everything that needs to be said about Kharkiv today.
Not many people walk by these flowers anymore or stop to look at them. Most people who lived around them have left. No tourist steps by to set eyes on them. But quite obviously, a lot of Kharkiv's gardeners have not left, and they are no more immune to missiles.
Back on the Nation at 5 with the latest on the gangs of Punjab. Now allegations being made there is high level of security being given to netas in Punjab. But what about these gangsters? How are they making a getaway? Now, an accused in Punjabi singer Sidhu Moosewala's murder case, gangster Deepak alias Tino, and a close aide of the jailed gangster Lawrence Bishnoi, he actually fled from the custody of the CIA unit of Mansa police. Tino was being brought to Mansa on remand from Kapurthala jail. He was one of the accused who planned Moosewala's murder. The Punjab police now launching a search operation to nab this gangster. Meanwhile, Moosewala's family has accused the Aam Aadmi Party-led government of absolute inefficiency. The BJP also attacking the AAP government, saying it supports mafias and crimes have increased over the time they have come into power in Punjab, with some saying that it's a 42-car convoy for the chief minister, but they can't protect a gangster who is accused in the murder of a singer, a popular singer in Punjab.
माइंड सेट है कि ये दिखाया जाएगा कि वो वहां से एक दूसरी जगह पे जाके छिपा हुआ था और हमने उसको वहां पे पकड़ने की कोशिश की, उसने ऑपोजिट फायरिंग की और हमने उसका एनकाउंटर कर दिया। ये एक प्लान स्टोरी है जिसके तहत कॉन्स्पिरेसी के तहत पंजाब पुलिस ये पूरा फंक्शन ऑपरेट कर रही है। मैं अपने इस वीडियो के थ्रू पंजाब पुलिस को एक मैसेज फ्लैश करना चाहता हूं कि आप कोई भी इस प्रकार की कॉन्स्पिरेसी मेरे क्लाइंट दीपक टीनू के केस करने की कोशिश ना करें। मैं इसके खिलाफ पंजाब एंड हरियाणा हाईकोर्ट के अंदर में एक रिट पिटीशन फाइल करने वाला हूं, जिसका जवाब पंजाब पुलिस को देना पड़ेगा। मैं आपके चैनल के थ्रू ये मैसेज एंटायर पंजाब स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को और पंजाब पुलिस को कहना चाहता हूं कि बी अवेयर, मेरे क्लाइंट दीपक टीनू के साथ कोई मिसहैपनिंग करने की कोशिश ना की जाए।
ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ, ਹਾਲ ਤੱਕ 4 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਸਨ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ। ਸਰਕਾਰ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਨਕੰਮੀ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਹੈ। ਮੈਂ ਉੱਤੇ ਵੀ ਅਗਰ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਚੁਗਦੀ ਪਕਿਆ ਉੱਤੇ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਹੀ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ, ਅੱਜ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਇਹੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਨਕੰਮੀ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕੰਮ ਦੇ ਮੁੱਦਿਆਂ ਵੱਲ ਤਾਂ ਗੱਲ ਧਿਆਨ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇ ਰਹੀ, ਹੋਰ ਹੀ ਪਾਸੇ ਚੱਲੇ ਪਏ ਨੇ। ਬਸ ਵੀਰੋ ਮੇਰੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਮੂਹਰੇ ਇਹੀ ਹੱਥ ਜੋੜ ਕੇ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋਣ ਦੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰਤ ਹੈ। ਆਪਾਂ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋਵਾਂਗੇ, ਅਸੀਂ WhatsApp ਨੰਬਰ ਜਾਰੀ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀਰ ਭੈਣ ਭਰਾ ਨੇ ਕਿਤੇ ਕੈਂਡਲ ਮਾਰਚ ਕਰਾਉਣਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਸ਼ਹਿਰ 'ਚ ਆਪਣੇ ਜ਼ਿਲ੍ਹੇ 'ਚ, ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੰਪਰਕ ਕਰਨ।
ਕਾਂਗਰਸ ਦੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਗੈਂਗਸਟਰ ਗੱਲ ਫਰਾਰ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ ਮਾਨਸਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਉਸ ਖਿਲਾਫ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਘੇਰੇਗੀ।
ਇੱਕ CIA ਦਾ ਇੰਚਾਰਜ ਖੁਦ ਆਪਦੀ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਵੇਟ ਗੱਡੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਿਠਾ ਕੇ ਜੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਗੈਂਗਸਟਰ ਨੂੰ ਬਿਨਾਂ ਹੈਡ ਕਫ ਕੀਤੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਲੜਕੀ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਾਉਣ ਦੇ ਲਈ, ਤੇ ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਸਪਸ਼ਟ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਕਾਲੀ ਭੇਡ ਉਸ ਵਿਅਕਤੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਉਸ ਗੈਂਗਸਟਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮਿਲੀ ਹੋਈ ਸੀਗੀ। ਤੇ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਦਾ ਔਰ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਦਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਐਕਸ਼ਨ ਦੇਖੋ ਕਿ ਇਮੀਡੀਏਟਲੀ ਉਸ ਕਲਪਰੇਟ, ਉਸ ਗੁਨਾਹਗਾਰ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਅਫਸਰ ਦੇ ਖਿਲਾਫ FIR ਦਰਜ ਹੋ ਗਈ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਅਰੈਸਟ ਕਰ ਲਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਤੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਡਿਸਮਿਸ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਸਰਵਿਸ ਤੋਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਸੈਸ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਹੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ। ਹੋਰ ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਤੇਜ਼ੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ। ਵਿਰੋਧੀ ਆਪ ਦੀ ਪੀੜ੍ਹੀ ਥੱਲੇ ਸੋਟਾ ਫੇਰਨ ਕਿ 5 ਸਾਲ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੀਆਂ ਜੇਲ੍ਹਾਂ ਸੀਗੀਆਂ ਉਹ ਸੁਧਾਰ ਘਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਬਜਾਏ ਉਹ ਬਰੀਡਿੰਗ ਗਰਾਊਂਡ ਬਣ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਗੈਂਗਸਟਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਔਰ ਕ੍ਰਿਮੀਨਲ ਅਨਸਰਾਂ ਦੇ। ਇਹ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਸੋਚ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕਰਨ, ਇਹ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਸੋਚ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕਰਨ ਕਿ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਨੱਕ ਦੇ ਹੇਠ ਗੈਂਗਸਟਰ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਦਿਨ ਦੁੱਗਣੀ ਰਾਤ ਚੌਗੁਣੀ ਤਰੱਕੀਆਂ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਪੈਰ ਫਲਾਏ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਆਪਦੀ ਪੀੜ੍ਹੀ ਥੱਲੇ ਸੋਟਾਂ ਮਾਰਨ।
भगवंत मान के लिए 42 गाड़ियों का कॉन्वॉय, वीवीआईपी आम आदमी पार्टी के नेताओं के लिए पंजाब पुलिस की सुरक्षा। परंतु जो व्यक्ति मूसेवाला हत्याकांड में शामिल था, मुख्य आरोपी के रूप में दीपक टीनू, जो बिश्नोई गैंग का सदस्य है, वो पंजाब पुलिस की गिरफ्तार से फुर हो जाता है, भाग जाता है और पंजाब पुलिस कुछ नहीं कर पाती। ये दिखाता है कि आम आदमी पार्टी दरअसल गैंग्स और माफिया पर क्रैकडाउन नहीं कर रही, उनको समर्थन दे रही है। आज जब से आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार पंजाब में आई है, तब से आए दिन किसी ना किसी बड़े हत्या का, क्रिमिनल इंसिडेंट का वाकया सामने आता है।
देखिए, ये जो अमीर आदमी पार्टी है उसको गिमिक करना आता है। शासन चलाने के लिए जो सीरियसनेस होनी चाहिए वो नहीं है। सबके लिए चिंता का विषय है। पंजाब हमारा बॉर्डरिंग स्टेट है और वहाँ पे गिमिक नहीं चलता है। आप देखते हो कि जिस तरह से पहले सिक्योरिटी के नाम पे गिमिक किया और एक अच्छा युवा आर्टिस्ट भी, एक कलाकार भी, एक नेता भी पंजाब ने गंवा दिया। अमीर आदमी पार्टी को इधर उधर हाथ पांव मारने की बजाय पंजाब में शासन दिया है लोगों ने, तो वहाँ पे कॉन्सेंट्रेट करना चाहिए।
Now, here's the inside story of how the gangster gave the cops the slip. Now, this is what sources are telling CNN News 18. The Mansa CIA in charge had actually taken Deepak, alias Tinu, to meet his girlfriend. Pritpal Singh also served as a member of the special investigation team. Pritpal Singh accompanied Tinu to a hotel in Junir. Tinu had grown close to Pritpal Singh and then prepared an escape plan. Pritpal Singh provided a mobile phone to Tinu. Tinu called his friends to be ready with a car. Pritpal Singh falls asleep in another room as Tinu escapes with his girlfriend. That's what has actually happened. Shashikant ji, former DG Prisons, Punjab is with us, and Hemant Atri, senior journalist, is also with us. Hemant ji, first with you. The inside story is that the cop was friendly with the culprit, with the shooter, the gangster. He was supposed to be taken to jail and he's taken him to meet his girlfriend. और फिर सो गए.
It's just shocking actually. See, how can one CIA in charge, who is in the rank of a sub-inspector or inspector and who happens to be a member of the SIT looking into the Moosewala case, can single-handedly take such a, gangster in his private Brezza car to meet his girlfriend? He was on a production warrant from that Goindwala jail. What was he doing in that private rest house? And you know what kind of rest house it is? It is a secret place of police officials which they use, in many ways for their own mean ends actually. He took him to that place. This place was arranged by this gentleman, police officer who was CIA in charge. He, along with his girlfriend Deepak Tinu, they were taken to that place by CIA in charge and the phone was given to them. And imagine, they were using his telephone. Have you ever heard in your journalistic career this kind of a gimmick on part of professional police force? Never ever. At least I have not heard in my 25 years. So the thing is, Punjab police, it goes beyond any reasonable doubt that they are hand in glove with many gangsters in their own unique way for their petty ends. And this is something very, very serious. See, if they can do such a situation in Moosewala case, which is connected with Canada, the anti-national, elements sitting across the border. Such a high-profile case, if they can do with such a criminal, what about the other ones who are smugglers, who are drug peddlers and who are whatnot? The thing is, Punjab police basically initially, there is a sequence of events. Once, unfortunately, Mr. Moosewala was killed. Was police force able to track them? No. For 1 month, could they arrest one accused? No. One of the main shooters? No. Delhi police arrested them from Gujarat. Then Haryana police arrested them. And once they were arrested, they are running away from the police custody with the connivance of police officer who is supposed to be, taking care of all that thing and is in charge of investigation. So Punjab police basically has many, many black ships. It has been established in the past
No,
also in drug peddling cases.
then what needs to be done, Hemanji, is to then go after officers and people like Pritpal Singh, because they are bringing Khaki a bad name. They are bringing up police, an effective police force, which has cracked down on Khalistani terrorism in the past. They're supposed to be one of the most potent and most capable police force across the country. And today, if this is what officers like Pritpal Singh are reducing it to, then there has to be an example made out of such officers that tomorrow none of them dares to do something like this. Hemanji, I'm just going to get a comment from Shashikantji and then come back to you. Shashikantji.
Hello.
Yes, Shashikantji. So the CIA, the member of the SIT, he takes him to meet his girlfriend at a hotel, then goes off to sleep so that these people make their escape. How is this acceptable in any corner?
Look, it is not acceptable at all. But again, I'm not surprised. I'm talking not only in context of Punjab police, but I have served in almost all the states in the country on deputation and this and that. This is one particular mess which is there in most of the states. Police officials, they become pally with the gangsters and all sorts of anti-social elements, including those guy and this and that. They get their own cut. Now, in this instant case also, it is obvious that this guy was in hand in gloves. And reason, only money power, money, dear money, nothing else. Second, this guy was not handcuffed. Why he was not handcuffed? I think that the entire police, this thing has to be reviewed. There are court decisions that a person cannot be handcuffed without the permission of a competent court. This is also one more thing that why he was not handcuffed. He'll just say that, well, he had taken it there. You know, once it goes to the court of law, there are so many arguments and this and that. Yes, this person is also a culprit, this Pritpal or whosoever he is. And I have been saying for a long time that the police force, now I'm talking in context of Punjab police, a large number of persons, they are in cahoots, they are in link with the drug smugglers, anti-social elements, gangsters, and this is not the first case of such a sort of a stupid kind of compromise which has come up. It's shocking.
No, this is not the first case, but this should be the last. Hemanji, you were saying something.
Yes.
Anandji, I was precisely coming on to that point as what Honorable Shashikantji has said. See, he being such a senior officer, and he is admitting to the fact that our police force, part of it, of course, part of them are professionals also, but part of the police force all across the country, they are criminalized. This is alarming, not shocking. See, I have been looking at this crime thing in particular, or in this North Indian part. What they are doing, they are hand in glove with every big gangster. And I, remember one situation in Panipat in Haryana, wherein the police commissioner called a particular officer to interrogate a particular accused who was a gangster. And whole CIA staff ran away. That individual officer in Panipat CIA was interrogating that gangster. He was a very big criminal. And the whole staff of the CIA ran away. The reason being, they are hand in glove. And particularly in this part of the country, Shashikantji, of course, is a much seasoned person who's experienced more than me. And he has been actively involved into this. See, the politicization of police forces all across the country. This is something very dangerous. See, there are two things. First,
but what has been done of this? What has been done of this Pritpal Singh? Has he been suspended? Has he been put behind bars? What action will be taken? Or is it that he has to be dismissed? 2 हफ्ते, 3 हफ्ते, 2 महीने, 3 महीने, and then he's back? Or they will transfer him somewhere else where he'll continue to do what he's doing?
Anandji, in police force, suspension is no punishment. It is rather, giving a benefit of doubt and then reinstating him with all those things. These kind of black ships, they need to be summarily dismissed from the service. Now, some of them are saying that he has been suspended. Some of them are saying dismissed. But these kind of people should be dismissed right away without any penitentiary benefits under the Police Act. And they should be behind the bars. If you start such a cleaning effort all across the country, I think we'll be headed for some good days. Otherwise, we are heading for very, very bad days and alarming days like what Sidhu Moosewala's mother has been saying. This is shocking.
No, absolutely. Final comment, Shashikantji, what should be done with officers like Pritpal Singh so that this is not repeated?
Like Mr. Atri has rightly said, and in this case also, I'm told my friends are telling me that they have invoked Article 311 of the Constitution, which means this dismissal from the service. But again, I'll add here, I know innumerable number of cases where persons who were dismissed from the service under 311 were reinstated with honors, with the salary and everything. I'm sure that the Punjab police makes such a strong case that there is no possibility of this person coming back again despite having been dismissed from service under Article 311 of the Constitution. Thank you.
Thank you, Shashikant ji and Hemant Atri ji. Thank you for joining us here on The Nation at 5. Shocking turn of events. A police officer, CIA, actually allows a gangster accused and charged with the murder of Sidhu Moosewala and plotting it, allows him to get away, and that too with his girlfriend. That's the story, ladies and gentlemen. It's not real. This has happened for real in Punjab. We're going to take a very, very short break here on The Nation at 5. Stay with us.
The hospital efforts are currently on to evacuate the other labourers. One person died and several others were injured as a passenger bus fell into a roadside ditch in Jammu and Kashmir's Udhampur district. The unfortunate accident happened in the wee hours of the morning. The injured were shifted to the hospital where they are undergoing treatment currently. 7-year-old child died during treatment after getting critically injured in an e-scooter blast in Mumbai's Vasai. A case has now been registered and further investigation has been initiated by the Manikpur police station. A fire broke out at a Durga Puja Pandal in Uttar Pradesh's Bhadoi district on Sunday evening, injuring more than 50 people and also killing a 12-year-old boy, unfortunately. According to the district magistrate, the fire started due to a short circuit. The fire brigade, however, brought the fire under control in an hour's time. As the Russian invasion of Ukraine enters its 8th month, an opera house in Kharkiv, which was hit and destroyed by a missile, has now been converted into a memorial. My colleague Sanjay Suri with this ground report.
This year behind is a memorial to those who died fighting and to those still fighting for Ukraine, fighting bloody battles and very difficult battles. And beneath that memorial, all around it, the sandbags and the flowers between them say just about everything that needs to be said about Kharkiv today.
Not many people walk by these flowers anymore or stop to look at them. Most people who lived around them have left. No tourist steps by to set eyes on them. But quite obviously, a lot of Kharkiv's gardeners have not left, and they are no more immune to missiles than anyone else.
Welcome back. Let's now take a look at some more stories doing the rounds from India and around the world. Congress leader Sonia Gandhi arrived at Mysuru airport today. She is all set to join the Bharat Jodo Yatra that's led by her son and Congress leader Rahul Gandhi on October 6th. Currently passing through BJP-led Karnataka, the Yatra is in its second stage and is all set to move with its 125 designated Yatris from Mysuru this Thursday. Security has been stepped up across Jammu and Kashmir with additional troops being deployed on highways and vital road links. Meanwhile, checkpoints have been increased in Srinagar and in Baramulla, Rajouri and other parts of the Union territory in view of the Union Home Minister Amit Shah's visit.
Ahead of Union Home Minister Amit Shah's visit to Jammu and Kashmir, there's been tremendous security which has been deployed across the Srinagar as well as other districts. Clearly, Mr. Shah is going to hold two rallies, one in Rajouri, that's in Jammu, and another in Baramulla in the valley, where there's in every likelihood he's going to announce scheduled tribe status to people of the Pahari community. Now,
thousands of farmers gathered to mark the Lakhimpur violence anniversary in Uttar Pradesh's Tikonia. Farmer leader Rakesh Tikait was in attendance at the event. Heavy police was also deployed for security arrangements. Now remember, a total of 8 people, including a journalist and 4 farmers, were killed on October 3rd in 2021 in Lakhimpur Kheri. A film crew entering the premises of Gurdwara Panja Sahib without permission in Punjab province of Pakistan has outraged the Sikh community. The crew was also seen wearing shoes while shooting inside the Sikh temple. BJP leader Manjinder Singh Sirsa, while sharing a video of the incident that's dated September 29th, condemned the act and demanded the Indian government to intervene, take prompt action and also raise the issue with the Pakistani government.
ਸਾਰਾ ਸਟਾਰ ਕਾਸਟ ਜੁੱਤਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਦਿਖਾਈ ਦੇ ਰਿਹਾ। ਇੱਕ ਸ਼ਰਧਾਲੂ ਨੇ ਇਸ ਦੀ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਬਣਾਈ, ਜਿਸਨੇ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਬਣਾਈ ਉਹ ਵੀਡੀਓ 'ਚ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਸੁਣ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਆਪਕੋ ਪਤਾ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਸਿੱਖੀ कैसे मिली है। ਲੱਗ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਮੁਸਲਮਾਨ ਆ। 29 ਤਰੀਕ ਤੋਂ ਇਹ ਆਦਮੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਭਦਾ ਪਿਆ। ਪੁਲਿਸ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਸਨ ਨੇ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਇਸ ਤੇ ਕਾਰਵਾਈ ਕਰਕੇ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਅੰਦਰ ਬੰਦ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਔਰ ਜਿਸ ਗੁਰੂ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਸ਼ਰਧਾਲੂ ਨੇ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਇਹ ਜਨਤਕ ਕੀਤੀ, ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਆ, ਉਸ ਦੀ ਜਾਨ ਦੀ ਰਾਖੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਵੇ। ਪਾਕਿਸਤਾਨ ਦੀ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਰੰਤ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਫੜ ਕੇ ਅਰੈਸਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਘਰ ਦੀ ਬੇਅਦਬੀ ਕੀਤੀ।
The Parvat Mountains in the Pir Panjal range of Gulmarg received its season's first light snowfall. Following the change in weather, several skiing resorts located in Baramulla area of North Kashmir have rejoiced at the opening of this year's business from the onset of the snowfall. The snowfall is the sign of the beginning of
Back on the nation at 5. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes you wonder, can it get more bizarre? And then comes another politician who says, listen, I'm going to push the envelope a little more. Listen to the Maharashtra Congress chief Nana Patole, who said that the lumpy virus was present in Nigeria, and because the cheetahs have been brought from Namibia, they are the ones spreading lumpy virus in our country. Listen in.
ये लंपी रोग जो है नाइजीरिया करके एक देश है, वहाँ पर ये कई सालों से था और ये चित्ता भी जो लाया गया है उधर से ही लाया गया है। तो चित्ते के चिट्ठे और गैया के चिट्ठे ये दोनों समान आते हैं। ये केंद्र की सरकार ने जानबूझकर किसानों का नुकसान करने के लिए ये व्यवस्था बनाई है।
Well, we try and connect with Ram Kadam, who's actually tweeted about this. Preeti Sompura is with us. Ram Kadam ji is now saying that महाराष्ट्र के में जानवरों में लंपी वायरस बीमारी केंद्र सरकार द्वारा चीते देश में लाए गए इस कारण फैल रहा है। इति कांग्रेस प्रांत अध्यक्ष इस महान संशोधन के लिए एक समेत पूरे कांग्रेस दल को विश्व के नोबेल पुरस्कार से सम्मानित किया जाए, is what he has tweeted. Maharashtra BJP leader Ram Kadam ji, he is with us on the phone line. राम कदम जी, नाइजीरिया में लंपी वायरस, नमीबिया से लाए गए चीता, बट ये चीता यहाँ देश में लंपी वायरस फैला रहे हैं. That's what Nana Patole's parallels are.
See, this is ridiculous. What is the logic behind it? He has been trying to hog limelight since long, and just to being in the coverage all the time, he has been giving this such kind of ridiculous statements. There is no logic at all. In a way, which is a proud moment when under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister, we bought cheetahs in India. It's a proud moment. Instead of appreciating that, on the other hand, is he taking jibe? Or is he showing his knowledge? In a joking way, I wrote in my tweet that right from Congress President to entire Congress should be awarded by the Nobel Prize because of this new invention. What is the relation between cheetahs came here and the limpy virus? What is the relation? Absolutely no relation. It's ridiculous. Whatever the charges leveled by the Mr. Congress President by Mr. Nana Patole is baseless. Instead of, our demand is he should come forward and he should apologize to the farmers, to the nation.
एक तो wild and domestic, दूसरा lumpy virus is there in Maharashtra and Rajasthan and even Uttar Pradesh and other places much before the cheetahs even came to India. The other thing is, sir, Nigeria में lumpy virus है और Namibia से cheetah है, तो Nigeria Namibia का भी difference, भूगोल भी थोड़ा problem है.
Very rightly you said, that now Congress leadership, they have been showing their, how brilliant they are to understand geography and to understand the science. So this is all just because of, I can say, hogging limelight, nothing else. All the allegations are baseless, and it shows that they are not a serious politician. They have nothing to do with the farmers. They have nothing to do with our nation.
Well,
They're
Ram Kadamji,
frustrated. And that's the reason why they have been leveling such kind of allegations which are baseless.
One has to try and understand that moment of inspiration when such a thought came and he realized that he wants us to actually say it on a public platform. Ram Kadamji, thank you very, very much for your time. We're going to take a very, very short break on that note, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty wild and domestic and, of course, bizarre in terms of Nigeria, Namibia, cheetah and cows. Stay with us.
Wanted the Indian government to intervene, take prompt action and also raise the issue with the Pakistani government.
सारा स्टार कास्ट जूतियां दे अंदर दिखाई दे रहा। एक श्रद्धालु ने इसकी वीडियो बनाई, जिसने वीडियो बनाई वो वीडियो कहता सुन रहा है कि आपको पता ही नहीं है ये सिक्खी कैसे मिली है। लग रहा है कि वो भी मुसलमान है। 29 तरीक तो आदमी नहीं लभदा पिया। पुलिस प्रशासन ने शायद इस ते कार्रवाई करके उन्हें अंदर बंद कर दिता। और जिस गुरु घर के श्रद्धालु ने वीडियो बना के ये जनतक की, लोगों ने जानकारी दी है, उसकी जान की राखी की जाए। पाकिस्तान की सरकार को तुरंत इन लोगों को फड़ के अरेस्ट करना चाहिए जिन्हें गुरु घर की बेअदबी की।
The Parvat Mountains in the Pir Panjal range of Gulmarg received its season's first light snowfall. Following the change in weather, several skiing resorts located in Baramulla area of North Kashmir have rejoiced at the opening of this year's business from the onset of the snowfall. The snowfall is the sign of the beginning of winter in the valley. 2 labourers died and another one was injured in a wall collapse incident in Gurugram today. The dilapidated wall fell on the labourers while getting demolished. With one injured sent to the hospital, efforts are currently on to evacuate the other labourers. One person died and several others were injured as a passenger bus fell into a roadside ditch in Jammu and Kashmir's Udhampur district. The unfortunate accident happened in the wee hours of the morning. The injured were shifted to the hospital where they are undergoing treatment currently. 7-year-old child died during treatment after getting critically injured in an e-scooter blast in Mumbai's Vasai. A case has now been registered and further investigation has been initiated by the Manikpur police station. A fire broke out at a Durga Puja Pandal in Uttar Pradesh's Bhadoi district on Sunday evening, injuring more than 50 people and also killing a 12-year-old boy, unfortunately. According to the district magistrate, the fire started due to a short circuit. The fire brigade, however, brought the fire under control in an hour's time. Now, as the Russian invasion of Ukraine enters its 8th month, an opera house in Kharkiv, which was hit and destroyed by a missile, has now been converted into a memorial. My colleague Sanjay Suri with this ground report.
This year behind is a memorial to those who died fighting and to those still fighting for Ukraine, fighting bloody battles and very difficult battles. And beneath that memorial, all around it, the sandbags and the flowers between them say just about everything that needs to be said about Kharkiv today.
Not many people walk by these flowers anymore or stop to look at them. Most people who lived around them have left. No tourist steps by to set eyes on them. But quite obviously, a lot of Kharkiv's gardeners have not left, and they are no more immune to missiles than anyone else.
Welcome back. Let's now take a look at some more stories doing the rounds from India and around the world. Congress leader Sonia Gandhi arrived at Mysuru airport today. She is all set to join the Bharat Jodo Yatra that's led by her son and Congress leader Rahul Gandhi on October 6th. Currently passing through BJP-led Karnataka, the Yatra is in its second stage and is all set to move with its 125 designated Yatris from Mysuru this Thursday. Security has been stepped up across Jammu and Kashmir with additional troops being deployed on highways and vital road links. Meanwhile, checkpoints have been increased in Srinagar and in Baramulla, Rajouri and other parts of the Union territory in view of the Union Home Minister Amit Shah's visit.
ahead of Union Home Minister Amit Shah's visit to Jammu and Kashmir, there's been tremendous security which has been deployed across the Srinagar as well as other districts. Clearly, Mr. Shah is going to hold two rallies, one in Rajouri, that's in Jammu, and another in Baramulla in the valley, where there's in every likelihood he's going to announce scheduled tribe status to people of the Pahadi community. Now,
thousands of farmers gathered to mark the Lakhimpur violence anniversary in Uttar Pradesh's Tikonia. Farmer leader Rakesh Tiket was in attendance at the event. Heavy police was also deployed for security arrangements. Now remember, a total of 8 people, including a journalist and 4 farmers, were killed on October 3rd in 2021 in Lakhimpur Kheri. A film crew entering the premises of Gurdwara Panja Sahib.
Back on the nation at 5 with news just coming in of charges of beadbi or disrespect. Sacrilege at a Gurdwara in Pakistan. This is Gurdwara Panja Sahib, very revered among Sikhs. This is based in Attock, and the incident is dated the 29th of September, where there were a group of people who came in, and the allegation is they entered the entire Gurdwara premises, including the area of the sanctum area, where they have the Guru Granth Sahib and the main prayer area with shoes on, and they continue to film there and shoot without having proper permissions. And the devotee who actually shot them and accosted, made a video of these people and accosted them, has now reportedly been arrested by the police. So he's the one behind bars and has not been seen since that day. That's the charge that's been made, allegations made by Mr. Manjinder Singh Sirsa, who should be joining us any moment now. He's also raised the issue with the Ministry of External Affairs. Have a look at this video.
गुस्से की किन चीजों से मिली है? नहीं भाई, चेहरा दिखाओ सारे। क्यों भाई चेहरा दिखाएं? क्यों चेहरा नहीं देखा? बाहर कर ले, हम बाहर आ गए। वीडियो बनी, जितने भी इधर गुरुद्वारे के वीडियो बने, सारे मुस्लिम भाई हमें बोल रहे। चलो कैमरा बंद करो। यहाँ कैमरा नहीं, वीडियो डिलीट करो। अगर वीडियो आ गई तो इसका जिम्मेवार कौन होगा? सब ऐसी ये बंदा, ठीक है, ये बंदा। इनको तो पता भी नहीं कि गुरसे की क्या होती है, गुरसे की किन चीजों से मिली है। नहीं भाई, चेहरा दिखाओ सारे। क्यों भाई चेहरा दिखाएं? क्यों चेहरा नहीं देखा? बाहर कर ले, हम बाहर आ गए। वीडियो बनी, जितने भी इधर गुरुद्वारे के वीडियो बने, सारे मुस्लिम भाई हमें बोल रहे। चलो कैमरा बंद करो। यहाँ कैमरा नहीं, वीडियो डिलीट करो। अगर वीडियो आ गई तो इसका जिम्मेवार कौन होगा? सब ऐसी ये बंदा।
Now we have. So that's the video. They're all a group of, they're non-Sikhs. They're all wearing turbans. They've come for a shoot. Now we're given to understand that even the Gurdwaras come under the Waqf board. These people have come there without permissions, and they've entered the prayer area also with shoes. And you can see a lot of the crew is still walking around with footwear inside the Gurdwara premises. Now, Mr. Sirsa is with us, Manjinder Singh Sirsa, BJP leader. Mr. Sirsa, namaste. Thank you for speaking with us. What happened at Panja Sahib? Can you take us through and the details, and how did you come to know about it?
So today in the morning I got a video and a phone call from one of the Sikh in Pakistan. He told me that on 29th of last month, few cast of the movie cast and some actors were there in Gurdwara premises who were wearing shoes. And they were recording some movie scenes there. When this gentleman objected to them कि आपको गुरुद्वारे की मर्यादा नहीं पता, आपको नहीं पता सिख धर्म क्या है, और आप ये बहुत बड़ा पाप कर रहे हैं, what you are doing is wrong here. So he shooted around 2 minutes or 1 minute 1 minute 50 seconds video. Thereafter, nobody knew that where this gentleman is. Today, a Sikh gentleman called me from Pakistan. He said that though we are not allowed to share this video and we are not allowed to comment on this, but this thing happened here in Gurdwara Panja Sahib in Pakistan. And this gentleman who shooted this video, as per his information, what he gathered from the local people, he might have been arrested and put behind bars for recording this kind of a video. So this is not a first incident there in Pakistan. In the past also, if you remember, there were several incidents made by Kartarpur Sahib or Nankana Sahib. and in continuation, this is the incident where you can see this all people wearing the shoes and going to the Gurdwara, and this, I have no word to express my anguish, but as you know, this is Pakistan and we are helpless.
But Sitsa ji, have you raised this issue with the MEA? I heard a soundbite of yours in Punjabi saying you will approach the MEA. Have you raised the issue with the MEA?
Yes, we have made the formal representation from the Sikh Gurdwara Management Committee. I have spoken to the concerned Joint Secretary who is looking after Pakistan affairs. He assured me that he'll take up the matter with the Pakistani government. But the question again is this mean that we got a limited say in Pakistan when it comes to the religious issues. Most of the time Pakistan do not respond to their questions also. Most of the time Pakistan says it is with our internal issue. And now you can understand that this pious Gurdwara is of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Guru Nanak Dev Ji visited this place, and it is one of the most sacred place in Pakistan. So Pakistan has the Gurdwara Nankana Sahib, Panja Sahib, where people visit occasionally from India also. These are one of the most sacred places there. But in spite of all this, in spite of number of complaints, in spite of raising my issue, Pakistan got deaf ears and nobody is there to listen to our grievance. And one can see in the video itself that had government serious about this issue or serious about the Sikhs, they themselves have so much, they would have taken action. In fact, nobody should have complained against this kind of a thing. And when somebody is making a video, shooting a movie there, wearing their shoes, you can very much understand that what is the intention of a government, how government is treating Sikhs there and Sikh religion there.
But the fact is that Pakistan claims they treat minorities well. On the one hand, they say this, the other hand, you see Beadbi, then they are also pushing this entire Khalistani narrative. My final question.
So, जहाँ तक पाकिस्तान की minorities का बात है, I must apprise you, there were around 1 million, 10 lakh Sikhs in Pakistan in 1947. Today, as per the government record, there are 28,000 Sikhs, and as per the Sikhs record, there are almost 16,000 Sikhs there in entire Pakistan. So now you can very well understand that how secure are we there in Pakistan, and there are number of peoples. In fact, in last, if I speak about myself, in last couple of years, maybe in last 3 or 4 years, I have managed to migrate around more than 500 people here in India from Pakistan through Wagah border, because their children are not safe, their daughters are not safe. In fact, one family which I do not want to name here has been approaching me since last 3 months. I have somehow arranged a visa for their family, and you know why? Because his elder daughter has been kidnapped and forcefully married, and her name is changed and religion is changed. So he want to save her younger daughter and a son. So they have approached me, somehow able to get a visa for them, and I'll now in a couple of days they'll be selling their properties and coming to India. And it all is you have to keep it in a secret mission, because the moment they'll come to know, they will arrest him in one case or other case. There are many cases. There are 300 people living behind Gurdwara Majnu Ka Tila, and they are all from Pakistan, and you can very well understand how safe minorities there. तो minorities का पाकिस्तान में इतना बुरा हाल है कि आज बताओ, वरना otherwise I must tell you one thing, and you will also appreciate that. दुनिया में अगर ये कहीं भी ऐसा केस हुआ होता, चाहे अमेरिका होता, कनाडा होता, तो दुनिया में वहाँ के सिख पूरे सड़कों पे उतर आते, पर पाकिस्तान के हमारे भाई भी मजबूर हैं. हम उनकी दर्द को समझ सकते हैं. उन बेचारों को ये भी अलाउड नहीं है कि वो अपने धर्म की रक्षा के लिए कोई एक बात भी बोल पाएँ, एक स्टेटमेंट भी दे पाएँ. ये भी वहाँ पे अलाउड नहीं है, ऐसा सेंसर लगा हुआ वहाँ पे. तो मिनॉरिटीज़ की आप बात ही मत करें. वहाँ तो शरेआम ही कह देते हैं कि हम मिनॉरिटीज़ को यहाँ नहीं रहने देंगे, आपको निकाल कर छोड़ेंगे.
जी, और वहाँ पर तो आपने जैसे कहा कि even the Gurdwaras come under the Waqf board. Mr. Manjinder Singh Sirsa, thank you for joining us this evening with your thoughts. You've raised the issue with the MEA. We'd see if the MEA formally lodges a complaint. The person who raised this alarm, who made the video, has been arrested. Not those who have actually disrespected Gurdwara Panja Sahib and the premises by entering there with the footwear and also sitting there and shooting for a movie without even taking the proper permissions. With that, we call it a wrap on this edition of The Nation at 5. Viewpoint with Zaka up next. Stay with us.
Good evening, this is Viewpoint. I'm Zakir Jacob. A delegation of Kashmiri pundits has spoken for the very first time at the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva. They have completely exposed how Pakistan, with the help of both local as well as foreign terrorists, has carried out mass killings. It led to the exodus of Kashmiri pundits back in the 1990s. But the fact is that even today, pundits are facing a security threat in Kashmir, as was evidenced in the killing of Rahul Bhatt, Rajni Bala and Makhanlal Bindru. The question is, the UNHRC itself may be a biased institution, certainly under its previous head, Michelle Bachelet, the former Chilean president. There were repeated reports that the UNHRC had put out questioning what is happening on the ground in Kashmir. The Indian government, both through the MEA as well as its representatives at the UNHRC, have given a firm response to that. The question right now is this. Now that the pundits have spoken at the United Nations Human Rights Council, what face will Pakistan now have to say that what's happening in Kashmir is indigenously developed, it's a local problem, and that it has nothing to do with the export of terror from across the border? All right, before we go across to our panelists, I just want to bring you up to speed with some figures as to how Naya Kashmir, particularly after 5th of August 2019, has been rattling Pakistan. The terror export track record of Pakistan so far. Just in the last 1 year, up until May 2022, which is when we have data available, there were 62 terror attacks in Jammu and Kashmir until May 2022. This was submitted by the Union Home Ministry in a written reply in Parliament. 80 Pakistan-backed terrorists were killed just in the calendar year of 2022. This is until May. 128 security personnel were killed between August 2019 and June 2022. That's the period of course, right after the scrapping, the abrogation of Article 370. And in that same period, 118 civilians were also killed in attacks between August 2019 and June of 2022. So the question that's being asked is, for the very first time, Kashmiri pundits, who are a victimized group who were chased out of the Kashmir Valley, and also who even today are facing threats from terrorists, both within Kashmir and the exported variety that are exported from across the border, they have made their case before the highest human rights body of the United Nations. Let me go across to Lalit Ambardar. He's a Kashmiri activist. Sushant Sareen, senior fellow at the ORF. Arti Tuku is founder and editor-in-chief of The New Indian. She'll be joining us in a moment. And Ambassador Anil Trigunyat, former diplomat, also on the broadcast. Sushant, let me start with you first. The UNHRC itself is seemingly a biased organization, no doubt about it. In fact, under its previous chief, Michelle Bachelet, there were repeated reports that were brought out under her stewardship questioning what is happening in Kashmir. India, in fact, had responded to that, saying that the reports that have come out are fallacious, tendentious and motivated, and that individual countries are trying to influence, and individuals are trying to influence the role of the UNHRC. Will the fact that Kashmiri pundits today spoke and exposed Pakistan and its nefarious activities have any ramifications beyond the four walls of the UNHRC?
Zakir, I don't know what ramifications it will have if the conscience of the world was not shaken when over 500,000 Kashmiri pundits were forcibly evicted from the Kashmir Valley by the terrorists out there. Then I don't know whether, the testimonies of the victims in the halls of Geneva will actually shake the conscience of these countries. Number two, please look at some of the countries which are members of the UNHRC. China, right? You have countries like Iran. You have countries like Pakistan. I could name an entire rogues gallery of countries which are members of the UNHRC. So to expect that these guys are going to actually, their conscience is going to be shaken, and that UNHRC is actually in the business of protecting human rights of people in various parts of the world, well, that's a figment of imagination of whoever thinks that.
Okay.
Number three, I think what is important, even though I don't think much is going to come out of it, but I think it is very important that until now, for almost 40 years, there has been this kind of toing and froing at the Geneva UNHRC. But I think this is among the first time, not only in Geneva, but even in the UN, in New York, you had a victim of terrorism, Mr. Karambir Khan, who lost his entire family in the 26/11 attacks. He spoke out there. And it is very good that, we show to the world the victims of terrorism rather than, these human rights entrepreneurs who are going out there and, trying to get funding and doing all kinds of shady activity. I think it is very important to at least put on record the testimony of the victims of terror. So to that extent, I think this is a very useful exercise and it needs to be done much more. Not just last point, Zaka, not just of the Kashmiri pundits. And I think we need to be extremely careful on this, because in Kashmir, it is not just the Kashmiri pundits. They've, of course, faced the brunt of it. But the Kashmiri Muslims have also, their human rights have also been violated by these terrorists. They have also been butchered in Kashmir. And I think it is very important that their stories also be put out there.
All right. When the last report came out about the situation in Kashmir, this was in July of 2019, just a few months after, just ahead of the scrapping of Article 370. This is how the MEA had responded to it. This undermines the credibility of a UN institution. The MEA called the report overtly prejudiced. It seeks to build a false narrative. The report violates India's sovereignty and territorial integrity. In fact, the entire state of Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India. Pakistan is an illegal and forcible occupation of a part of the Indian state through aggression. This is the MEA's official response. Let me ask Ambassador Trigunyat, as a former diplomat, various actors, various individuals use the platforms of the UNHRC for their own, limited and vested political interests, including organizations like the OIC, the Organization of Islamic Countries.